Welcome to all you Virgos. Dear Virgos, here is your yearly horoscope for the year of 2016. And this is not going to be the most, I hope, not the longest video, because I want to give you the big trend of 2016 and the details of the monthly horoscopes, of course. But there are some huge trends going on in 2016. Now, last year was all about cardinal signs, and the cardinal signs, you're not one of them. And now, who is in the picture? The Virgos, absolutely. Because there is a lot of mutual energy, and mutual energy means, if you see that in a chart, it means that there is potential for a lot of dynamic in this year. So certainly for Virgos, it will be a dynamic year. So that's the start of 2016. And why is that? Because there are a lot of big planets, so slow planets in the mutable signs. So to start with, it's first of all Jupiter in your sign. It's up until, let's say, the middle of the year, like August, you still have Jupiter in your sign. So a lot of Virgos are sensing expansion in some way. Of course, if it would only be Jupiter in your sign and not being aspected by other outer planets, you would have felt that it's all expansion. But this expansion, and Virgos like this particularly, this expansion is all about expansion, but with little steps and with very secure steps. And this is actually what Virgos like to do. And why is that? Because Saturn squares up to it in your 4th house. So actually that's not a bad thing. I know Jupiter squaring up to Saturn is stressful, but the Virgos are doing quite okay with it. Why? Because they're used to do everything a bit perfect. I mean, I'm a Virgo myself. You try to do things perfect. So Saturn slows down the growth a tiny little bit, but it doesn't mean to say that you're still up and running and going towards a year where tremendous expansion is possible, whether it is a relationship, because it's on the 1st house to the 7th house, or whether it is work. A lot of Virgos will work probably also as from home, because Saturn is in your sector of home. Some Virgos will move probably, or will have renovations going on. So this is very general, of course. And amongst all this, there's also Neptune, of course, in your 7th house of relationships. Now, what is the best way to deal with this? The worst way would be that you don't want to see the Neptune there in the 7th house. Neptune is all about trying to open up the boundaries, trying to see more possibilities, trying to open up your heart, basically. And if you're running away from that, then you will experience probably the negative side of Neptune, which is just projecting it to another person. And that would be that you would attract a very Neptunian kind of personality, which is you don't know how to pinpoint them. They are not what they seem to be. So try to incorporate Neptune, you Virgos. And Neptune in the 7th house, the positive thing, although it is an opposition, but the positive thing is when Virgos try to embrace the positive side of Neptune, which is compassion, which is less judgment towards other people. So because Virgos are known for being critical, and not only towards themselves but also towards others, so that Neptune energy can, and also with Chiron there, it can make you a bit more sensitive, but not in a negative way, in a way that you understand people better. You're not going to criticize them. You're not gonna let them walk all over you either, but you just understand them better. So that's a good thing, because if there's one thing that a Virgo wants, it's understanding. So every aspect that I'm talking about now is in an opposition, in a square, which is a bit of tension, but it doesn't mean to say that you're not gonna get there. You're gonna get there with some effort. That's all with the squares and the oppositions. You need to do some effort for it. So this is, and of course, so what does it mean when all these planets are in an alignment that is quite challenging? It means that one, there is tremendous growth for Virgos when it comes to relationships, when it comes to projects, absolutely, also work even, but if they stay with the feet on the ground. That's in a nutshell. And not, so if you are a personality that things like, if you have the feeling that you are too restricted, too much responsibilities, too much boring, too much effort to do things, maybe you should go a bit more to the Neptune. Maybe you should try to embrace Neptune a bit more, which is being a bit more creative, trying to be a bit more open. If it's the other way around, if you're thinking, no, my life is like one bubble and I have dreams and I want to do this, I want to do that, try to become a bit more with the feet on the ground. This is in a nutshell Neptune in a square to Saturn. But I think, again, Virgos are not really having that much of a hard time because they know if they want to achieve something, they have to work hard for it. Another thing, of course, the North Node is in your sign, which is fantastic. So eclipses happen there. So what does it mean? With Jupiter and the North Node in your sign, for all the Virgos of you that are out there, in January, February, which is very soon, there is possibility. There is extra growth, extra possibility when it comes to you. So put the emphasis on you in the year of 2016, and things will flow easier. So don't push too hard on the relationships. Don't push too hard at home, at work. Put emphasis on you and your own growth and development. That's not really a Virgo trait, but try to do it because that's what the North Node asks of you. Try to focus on you. Try to expand yourself. Try to have a bigger picture on life. The best positive thing of whole 2016, I find, is the Jupiter trine with Pluto. And for you Virgos, you benefit the most out of this. Why? Jupiter in your sign, trining Pluto in your 5th house. This is fantastic. It already happened in October on the 12th in 2015. And it's going to repeat itself throughout the year. So actually 2 times is like the March period and the June period. But what is that? Jupiter is expansion, is growth, is fate, and Pluto is power, strength. So tremendous power and strength is possible for Virgos. So, and more confidence. It is very known that Virgos are normally not really the most confident sign, but that's because they have such, they want everything to be perfect, and they worry a lot. But with Jupiter in your sign, Pluto in the 5th, making a beautiful aspect, a trine, which is easygoing, in your 5th house of self-expression, this is fantastic. This is fantastic for romance, for those of you who are single, around those times. Very good for meeting someone who's, you know, very, a powerful connection. And for those who are in a relationship, even then, the connections that they have on a heart level are very, very powerful and very sustainable as well. They are very long-term because these are 2 planets who are very long-term, and when they click, when they have an aspect with each other, something very solid is born here. So take advantage of expressing yourself, you Virgos, in that house of self-expression, creativity, projects, business, romance, children. All of this is very beautifully favored. So I really like the year for the Virgos. Thank God it's now a year that we can grow and we have the ability, although it's not as fast as normal, but I don't think you Virgos would mind too much. I wish you all, and a last thing but not least, the asteroid is extremely long in the same sign of Scorpio, which is your 3rd house. So communications for you Virgos are going to be, and I mean in general, all your communications are going to be powerful. People are going to listen more to you. So be aware of that responsibility. Your communications are powerful, are deep. So are your connections, because it's all in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 3rd house of communications. Having said that, I wish you a very, very good year for 2016. Stay tuned, subscribe if you like, and all the best. Bye-bye.